Please, can you push Stuart on the chair? Make the chair move forward. If you are responsible for moving things in this place, for throwing things, then move and... What's right round you?
I'm not hearing anything. I've got my earpieces.
Take it out. What's right round you?
What was it?
There. Right round your feet. On the floor.
Sounds like it's over near me, you know.
Yeah, it's moved. Are you getting anything downstairs, Kieran?
EVP, we're listening to you calling out and we're recording it and then we're playing it back and listening through the headphones. So we'll let you know as soon as we get anything.
Okay, we're getting lots of knocking now.
It's walking.
Walking. Please, can you push the chair that Stuart is sat on? Push it. Just a little bit. It'd be great if you could push it a lot. Come on. Is that a move?
And the chair. That's right here.
It is.
It's like walking right past me.
That's what I felt before, yeah.
What? Are we hearing this in the studio? Can we hear this in the studio?
I don't know if you can hear me, Olga, but this wheelchair I'm sitting in, it feels like it's being rocked back and forth.
That's what we're asking for. Sit tight. David, can you get up here? I don't know if they're hearing this in the studio, so we need David on sound.
Right, I'm hearing a whisper over there.
That's what we were hearing it
I'm hearing it over there.
Where? Whereabouts?
Right over there. In the far corner. If you keep walking straight in front of you there.
Yvette, I'm hearing lots and lots of groans up here, and they're quite loud as well.
Okay, Stu.
They need to see if they can pick that up on the webcam up there, because it's got sound, I think.
Okay. Can we please make sure we can check that the sound of groaning is on the webcam, please, with Stuart. Push Stuart in the wheelchair. Push him in the chair. Can you pick that up on sound, David?
Yeah.
What?
Come here. Can you smell?
Oh!
Shall I tell you that what I can smell?
A what?
What can you smell?
Well, to me, it smells like dinner. Oh, sorry, Kath.
Sorry, Kath, can I just tell you what I thought it smelled of?
Smells like your dinner.
No, I thought it smelled like somebody had broken wind.
I thought it smelled like...
Yvette, have I got permission to leave this wheelchair because there's lots and lots of sounds coming from this corridor?
No. Stay where you are. When you came in, Carl, was there like a stone or something that came with you?
No, there's something came at me when I walked in the door.
Do it again.
I walked in the door here, and as I walked in, something seemed to bounce towards me from in front of me there, which is, to your left.
Let's reenact it. I'll hold the camera.
Like that. Where's my earpiece? Gets right there.
Okay.
All I did was walk into here, got to here, and that's when it happened. And I thought, because I couldn't see anyone there, and I just walked in, and it went bang, 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 like something had been thrown at me from there.
Okay, go back and come in again in a rush.
Okay.
Come on.
That wasn't that fast.
No, I know, I'm just seeing. Yeah. You got the...
I think the nation needs good shots.
So Stuart is being rocked back and forth in that wheelchair. Carl thinks they're smelling something like dinner, but he wasn't as jolly a little earlier when he was in that wheelchair on his own and something or someone brushed past him, tried to attack him almost. We have that moment on webcam. You can look at it right now, back after this. Welcome back to St George's Hall in Liverpool, the scene of tonight's Most Haunted Live. We're going to be based here for the next 7 nights. A remarkable building and a remarkable experiment. We are looking for 7 manifestations of evil. And tonight, the team, led by Yvette Fielding and Carl Beattie, are searching for poltergeist activity. For a long time, there have been rumours that there is poltergeist activity here inside St George's Hall. Tonight, they want to find out for sure whether or not that is the case. Well, we've had lots of information coming through from the team in fits and starts, and here to source that information and to tell us more about this remarkable building are our academic and historian Leslie Smith and our master of the dark arts and demonologist Fred Back. Give him a round of applause, please. Now, Leslie, we've said about the magnificence of this building. Liverpool, of course, was a hugely wealthy city. It rivalled London.
Yes.
But not all of that money came from creditable sources, did it?
In the early part of the time, it was thought to be entirely credible to be dealing with slavery, if that's what you're saying. And of course, later on, when we get to 1807, with the abolition of slavery, people earned a huge amount of money here in Liverpool. It was a really massive part of the trade. In fact, one of the greatest sources in terms of bulk and volume of slaves in the whole of Europe. At one point, before the abolition, obviously, we had 100 ships a year, that's 2 a week, going to the Africas and coming back with slaves. And some of those people would have fought back and been manacled. And indeed, we had that distressing moment earlier on when there was talk about a slave being held here. We do have names of some of the people who were here. And in some cases, they were still manacled when they were actually in the hospital, when this building, one of its earlier layers of life, was as a hospital. And that's what we found here with Fred.
We did have the name Thomas Fred come up, didn't we?
Yeah, there was a Thomas that died here when the infirmary was here. He was Thomas Rice in September 1779. But the other good thing about this area is that Gerald Gardner was born here. Now, he was responsible for sort of reviving witchcraft in the modern Western world. He revived Wicca, and well, he did Wicca. And also his grandfather married a witch. So there's that sort of connection, but no witchy stuff coming up yet. I wish they would pick up something
Still up
like
on the trail of poltergeist, but through the week we're looking for different manifestations of evil, of dark forces. When was Gerald Gardner? Was it the 1930s?
1930s, he did that, yeah. But I'm looking forward to night 5 because that's going to be special, where if anybody's into witches, where that's concerned.
Again, as we've been saying, that any activity that emerges, of course, will be analysed by the team, dealt with by Brian Shepherd and Billy Roberts, and then we hope sourced and authenticated by you guys. Thank you very much for the moment.
Okay.
Let's get straight back now to Yvette Fielding and the team, and I believe they may have changed location inside this magnificent hall. Let's find out. Yvette, back to you.
Thank you. I'm just getting the group round here. We've moved to a different area, which is, I think this is called the small hall, isn't it? The small concert hall. It's absolutely beautiful. There's a stunning chandelier there at the top. And when you put your torch on it, all these different shafts of light go on around the dome ceiling. It's a beautiful, beautiful room. The statues holding up seats, I believe, at the top there. It's absolutely... We've got tapping.
We can got tapping now, but around here somewhere.
Pretty much under our feet.
Right. First of all, I want to do an experiment. Based on tonight, we're talking about poltergeist. Now, there is the other side to poltergeist activity. Many people believe that it's not a ghost causing the energy, it's actually the human being.
Yeah.
Do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, it's caused by human beings using PK. And PK is psychokinetic energy. It's this ability to move things with your mind. And often people talk about poltergeist cases or parapsychologists. They call it RSPK, recurrent spontaneous PK. And based on that, we had a chat before this show. Is there any PK experiment we can do? And here in front of us, we've got a PK experiment. And this is not just some basic experiment done by quacks. This experiment was done over years and years and years, a much bigger version of it and quite complicated version by Princeton. There was a research lab in Princeton University, one of the leading universities in the world, and they did this and they found a PK effect.
Right.
What normally happens is you drop balls down into this contraption and if they're falling at random, they would form a rough triangle at the bottom as they fall into these different channels here. The PK part of it is, as a group, or individually, but I think as a group, what you want to do is try and get the balls to fall skewed to the right or to the left.
Okay.
So you've got to decide as a group, or you decide.
I think we should do it as a group. And before we do that, I want to talk to Carl and Stuart, because they've both come back from sitting on that wheelchair. How are you both feeling now that you're back? I mean, you both report the sensation of it shaking or moving.
Well, it didn't seem to physically move, but what was happening for me when I sat on it, it's almost like, you know, the bangs we get, it was almost like someone was doing that on it, and you could feel it kind of vibrate, but it wasn't going anywhere. At one point I felt something sort of push me there, and I left when something hit me on the back something grabbed me on the back of the neck. I stood up, and I'm 100% convinced I heard something in my ear saying, "Help me," and that's when I went.
Okay, Stuart?
As soon as I sat in the chair, this sensation of rocking back and forth very gingerly, and then there was lots of noises. It was groans basically saying, "Get out." Oh. Now, I only told you about the groans, I never said what it said, but there was what I was hearing, "Get out."
Listen to that.
And that happened 7 times.
7 times? There's not walking around the back of you, Brian, there. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to this PK experiment. And if we all, as a group, stand here in front, can we stand there in front of it, Chris, with you with a good... Yeah, stand here in front, everybody. And we've all got to concentrate and decide which way we want the... What are they? The balls to fall. Do we want it to go left or right?
This side, left.
We want it all to go left. So you've all got to look at the board and you've all got to concentrate on that.
On this side.
This side. Okay, that's where we want them all to go.
I'm going to drop them in the top, and there may be 1 or 2 that actually fall out.
Okay.
Don't worry about that.
Okay. Right, so we're all concentrating. We want it to go that side.
Concentrate.
Concentrating. Can you see, Kieran?
Just about.
Okay. Well,
You see any sort of effect there?
no.
Even, isn't it?
It's very even. So that would mean that with our collective energy, there's basically nothing there, which...
Nothing there. But I have to say...
Wait a minute.
All right, okay.
So that would mean then that if we are to believe in ghosts and we're to believe in poltergeist activity, that basically it's not us. It wouldn't be us collectively as a group. It's not our PK energy that would be causing a stone to be thrown, which is what just happened in the courtroom.
Yeah. That's a possibility. That's
a possibility.
Yeah, and I think you're
against you.
It's not 1-0 against me, because I'm actually going to play the devil's advocate and be a little bit more of a believer versus what I normally am, because you've looked at this and said, well, there's no effect. Remember what I said at the beginning, that random balls, when they fall through this particular lattice, they fall in a triangular structure. Mm-hmm. And what you've got is, you've got kind of an early formation of a triangle here. Mm. But what's going on here with these two extreme channels? It's very, very odd. So,
is it very, very odd?
It's just odd in terms of the way they're falling. Yeah, there's two. Look at that. Those two channels there are higher.
Right.
It's just
Okay.
very odd, and you know, concentrate on the
Well,
left.
coming from Kieran, you've seen it done many times before. You think it's odd. So you're thinking, what? Maybe a couple of us have strong PK energy?
A possibility. I mean, this is one trial, and it would be nice to take individuals and get you to do it a number of times, but as an individual, and see what happens. So maybe over the course of the 7 nights.
Over the course of 7 nights, let's take one person and
Let's
see.
do
And
that.
maybe Carl might have really strong PK energy. Maybe, you know, Brian might have strong PK energy. That's really interesting. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really good.
It was a very interesting experiment.
Let's have a look now at this place. Let's have a wander around and see what we
keep
can get
thinking
here.
that's moving, you know.
What moves? What's moving?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most beautiful chandelier I think I've ever seen. Okay.
It's worth about 200.
If there's anybody here, if there's any spirit people here at all, please throw something, make a noise. Everybody split up. Everybody go into different directions around the place. So Brian, you go up there. Kath, go somewhere else. Carl?
Yeah. I got up top.
You go up top, yeah?
Watch where you're walking.
I'll stand here.
Loads of them.
If there's anybody here, please make a noise. Please tap. You made some banging noises earlier on. Can you do it again? There's some books on the stage area.
So the team is separating, but Dr. Kieran O'Keefe, our resident skeptic, a parapsychologist, is very impressed indeed with the results of that experiment. He can't explain it. What else will emerge on tonight's investigation that is unexplainable? Find out after this. Welcome back to Most Haunted Live and the first of 7 nights of fascinating paranormal investigation, The Search for Evil. We are based in St George's Hall on Merseyside, in the heart of Liverpool. And tonight, the team are on the quest for poltergeist activity. Now, when the investigation started, Brian Shepherd, our medium clairvoyant and psychic artist, was with Yvette and the team. He's now rejoined us here to tell us of his experiences and senses so far. Welcome back, Brian.
Thank you.
Now, your psychic art you produced of this remarkable building did seem to get some sense of energy or activity directly behind where I'm sitting now.
Absolutely, yeah.
What kind of presence was that? Was it a malevolent presence?
I think it was. I mean, it was, put it this way, it was very evident. So, you know, it's very easy for me to identify that there was, let's face it, there was something here, you know? It seemed to almost seep up through the fabric of this, from underneath this building. So from way, way back in time, I think it's been there. Yeah, malevolent, you know, back to a time when, a darker time altogether, if you like, but reaching out to us in the present.
What was fascinating, though, I think, was that reaching out, because both Carl and another team member and yourself, I think, got the sense of somebody requiring help, or a presence saying, help me.
Well, a pleading, yeah, help me, you know. So maybe that was part of it, you know, this thing that I experienced, you know, reaching across to us in our time, pleading that we indeed help them.
And through the rest of this week, we're looking for different manifestations of evil, of dark forces, including witches and demons. How do you feel about that? Are you nervous about what we're embarking on here?
Yeah, if you want total honesty, yeah, to a degree. I mean, it doesn't necessarily worry me that much in terms of, okay, it could be witches, it could be whatever it might be, pluck one out of the air. But it's the menace behind that, you know, what are we, we're digging around, what are we going to uncover? You know, that's sort of unexpected. Who knows? You know?
The only way to find out is to keep watching Most Haunted Live. Yvette Fielding and the team are still at the vigil site. Our audience member is with them, as is medium clairvoyant Billy Roberts. Let's get straight back there now.
Hi. Paul, hi. Yeah, Billy has joined us. In the break, something extraordinary just happened. Me and Daniel, this is Daniel here, who's one of our lovely cable bashers, riggers. I'm just going to show you what we've seen. Me and Daniel saw it exactly the same time. You stay here with the camera. This is what we saw. Right? It's like this. So it was just like, but not the body, just the head. Like that. Now, I saw it and Daniel saw it exactly the same time. And then shortly after that, the balls that were used in the PK experiment started flying everywhere. So I don't know if the webcam managed to get, I don't know how wide it would be, whether